Right, welcome back in the garage, and not by choice this time. Engine's not very healthy at the minute. I suspect that it's head gasket failure. So yeah, I've got a show on Sunday. It's now currently Wednesday, so got a little bit of work to do over the next few days, and hopefully I'll be able to show you what I'm up to. So that was, I suspect, head gasket. I reckon it's gone between the cylinders, because I've had that happen before. Not on this engine, but on my old Mini. And yeah, it ran the same. Awful, because it's only running on 3, maybe 2, or 2, maybe 3 cylinders. So we'll find out later. First thing, let's get this bonnet out of the way. Right, so straight away I can see coolant leaking out between the rocker cover gasket. Doesn't look super milky or anything, but how about in the coolant? Yeah, a bit of pressure in there. It's gone a bit manky. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my first guess, which is head gasket. Mainly down to a bit of coolant leaking out there. So the main reason I think it's head gasket is I've had it happen before, and yeah, felt the same, drives like rubbish. So let's pull it apart and see. So carb off, exhaust manifold off. Yeah, but while we're here, while we're taking the head off, we could always upgrade. Right, so while I'm taking the head off, I've been planning a while to change to a 1275 head, 12G 940 casting. So if you have a high lift cam, then you need to pocket the block. This has been covered quite a lot, so I won't go into too much detail, but you have to check cam lift on your exhaust valve. So these two and the two outer ones, they will contact the block if you have a higher lift cam than standard. So all I've done here, set a DTI gauge up on the top cap of that exhaust valve, and I'm just gonna turn the crank. Right, so that's the maximum lift I've got on the exhaust cam, and I've checked the deck height on the 1275 head, and that is 7.3. So I haven't got much room, but then there is also a head gasket thickness as like a safety buffer, so I should be okay to just plop it on, and then we should have a little bit more power. Right, a little while later, that's the head off. And da-da-da. Yeah, knew it. Head gasket gone between the cylinders. Yeah, that's not a good gasket anymore. I mean, driving it to get it back to the garage probably didn't help. Probably made the gap bigger than it was this morning, but that's not a good head gasket. So doesn't look awful. Cool. Next step. Right, so it's a little bit later. I've got the head on now, and I did have it all together. However, the water pump that I had, well, I didn't buy a new one. I used an old one, which was in a box of spare parts. And as soon as I started it up, water just came leaking out straight onto the floor. So that was no good. I've ordered a new water pump and I've got that now. So that's going to be the next job. Fit the water pump back on, and then we can see how good we are. Retorque the head, make sure our gaps are all right in our tappets. So yeah, let's put the new water pump back on. And oh, I need to show you something about that. Right, so one thing to note, if you're putting a 1275 head on a 998, the head is very close to that flange for the water pump. So if we look at the water pump, the ceiling face is that nice mirrored surface, and then it goes up quite a way. So if I try and fit this water pump straight on without modifying it, then it actually touches the head and you can't seal it properly. So you just need to run a file along this top edge, just to put a chamfer along this top edge, and then you should clear the head. So I'll do that now and then bring you straight back. Hopefully you can see now that I took a sort of 45-degree chamfer off the edge of the water pump, and now we've got lots of clearance between the water pump and the head. I'll put a gasket on there with some Hylamar just to make sure we get the best seal we can, and then put everything else back together. Lovely. Right, and there we go. A couple of bolts later, our new water pump is fitted. We'll get everything back together and then give it a little test fire, I guess. Okay. Good job. That's it. Tighten it up. Good job. Right, and there we go, all back together. Radiators back in, filled up, and just been for a short drive just to make sure everything works fine, and all seems good. Needs a little bit of a tune up as it's now flowing a bit more, and yeah, then we're good to go.